Creating engaging YouTube thumbnails that encourage viewers to click on your videos is one of the most important tools for growing on YouTube. And it's actually probably not even as hard as you think. If you've ever wondered how you can make YouTube thumbnails that look like this, or even this, but you're sitting there like, I'm not a graphic designer and I don't even know where to start. So today I'm gonna ungatekeep my step-by-step process for creating YouTube thumbnails inside of Canva that have helped me get way more views and grow faster on YouTube. So let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into the computer. So there's really three factors when it comes to having a successful YouTube video. And that's number one, the topic of the video, the title of the video, and number three, the thumbnail. Unlike other social media platforms, people are actually searching for content on YouTube, which means a thumbnail is going to display in front of them, and then they have to decide whether they want to click on that to watch that video or not. Think of it kind of as the packaging for your content. What is the topic or value that's inside of the packaging, and how can you create really attractive packaging around your video so that someone actually clicks to open to see what's inside? So a couple principles before we dive into actually how to build these inside of Canva is I want to talk about the 5 C's that should be included inside of your thumbnail, which is contrast, conflict, controversy, confusion, or curiosity. Your thumbnail should contain 1 to 2 of these 5 C's to really encourage viewers to click on it. And we're going to dive into how you can incorporate these concepts into your thumbnails here in a second. But the next thing that you want to consider is what I call the rule of 3, which is including either 3 subjects, 3 frames, 3 colors, or 3 words into your thumbnail. One of the most common mistakes I see people make with their thumbnails is they make them way too busy. They add in all these different things. They add in their logo, a picture of them, a picture of something else, a really distracting background. And there's so much going on that it confuses the viewer. And that's not the confusion part that we're looking for, but it confuses the viewer and it doesn't really give them a specific reason to click because there's so much going on. So I like following the rule of 3 to encourage people to click on the thumbnail. And that looks something like this, using maybe 3 words stacked on top as a main focal point of your thumbnail, maybe having your face, words, and an arrow that all connect. That creates the rule of 3. And as you notice from these thumbnails here, if you draw a triangle, you can actually connect many of the subjects directing towards the subject's face. So it kind of guides the person's eye into the focal point of the thumbnail, making people want to click to see more. So you notice all these thumbnails incorporate the rule of 3. There's 3 subjects, there's 3 words, there's 3 colors, or there's 3 frames. And many of them contain multiple of the rule of 3. So that goes to show why these thumbnails have been so effective. The next phase of this, especially if you're a real estate agent, is most of the time, simplicity really wins. Creating more simple thumbnails with a simple photo, text, and maybe your image on it is going to be the most effective thumbnail for you, specifically in the real estate industry. So now how do we take these concepts and actually put them into Canva and actually create our own thumbnails very simply without much effort at all? So inside of Canva, I actually have a template that I just continue to duplicate and make new thumbnails with. You'll see there's different iterations of many videos as well, because I don't just make one thumbnail, upload it, and call it good. A lot of the times I'll create 2 or 3, find the best one, upload that. Maybe that video is not performing as well as it should, so then I swap it out, make a new thumbnail, update it, and try to get that video to increase its performance by changing the thumbnail. So you see there's multiple versions of thumbnails inside of here, but the way you get started is simply just go into Canva and type in YouTube thumbnail, and then you'll go down here to the one with the logo where it says 1280 by 720. That is the proper size format for YouTube thumbnails. And I'm going to click on this. Now there's a ton of templates in here in Canva, but I honestly wouldn't recommend using any of these. I'll maybe call out a couple that I like, but a lot of these look like templates. They look very cartoonish. They look, kind of tacky and cheap. So I really wouldn't recommend using one of these. I would recommend starting from blank. But if you just wanted to go quick and make one very simple and easy, a few that I like would be maybe this one over here on the right, maybe this one down here, this one here in the middle, this one just below it is pretty nice, but that's really about it. A lot of these are just really distracting, really cartoonish, and just kind of cheap and corny looking. And the other thing too is like, these templates are here for anyone and everyone to use. So when you use these, if you don't change it a lot, your thumbnails are going to look like a lot of other people's. And that's not what you want to have happen, right? You don't want someone to look at your thumbnail and be like, oh, I thought I already watched that video, or I've seen that before. You want to create your own brand and your own unique look. So the way you do this is just start by creating a blank YouTube thumbnail. So let's just create one very simply and just use a photo of myself and show how you can cut yourself out from the background, outline yourself, and then how to use text that will get people to click. So we'll just add this one in here just to start with, just as an example, and we'll fill it to size. And then you can actually separate yourself from the background here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm just going to click these two boxes up here in the top where it says duplicate. I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to overlay it and make sure that is fitted right on top of the other one. So that's perfect there. Then I'm going to go up here to the top left and hit edit photo. And then I'm going to hit background remover. So I'm going to click that. It's going to remove me from the background. And you're not going to notice it at first because there's going to be a image behind it, right? But as you can see, when I move it around, there are two images here. Now, if I wanted to give myself a little white outline, like you see on many thumbnails, you can just go down here to the effects panel and click shadows. Now there's a couple options here. You can click glow and then change the color to white. And that's going to give you a little glow. Now, the problem with that is like, it kind of changes the size of you for whatever reason. So as you change the size, you're going to kind of shrink on the screen. It might look kind of weird, but you can make the size like around 10 and then increase the intensity. And that has a little bit of a glow to it. But the other way you can do this is just simply hit outline, and then that's just going to outline you. So obviously it will shrink you down, but then it's going to create a white outline where you can't see the background. So if I do this to like here, like 12, and then change the intensity, make the intensity 100. You know, that doesn't look too bad. I honestly kind of prefer the glow on this one. So I'm actually going to change it back, and I'm going to go glow, and I'm going to tweak this. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now we can leave it as is, but I want to show you one other trick that you can do inside of here. So let's just duplicate this real quick. I'm going to delete this top version. So now I just have the one image, the one original image on here. And one thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to go up here to edit photo, and I'm going to hit magic grab. Now, when you hit magic grab, that basically detaches you from the background. So rather than having to duplicate yourself, put you on top, then remove the background like we did before, if you just hit magic grab, and sometimes this doesn't work perfectly, but when it does, it can be super handy. So you can definitely see it kind of gave like a little blue bubble around here on the back. Again, doesn't work perfectly every time, but it's not too bad. Like maybe it's just kind of like a lens flare type thing. It may not be too bad, but now we can basically take this and we can move you around the background. So now you can outline yourself and it won't matter because there's no second person behind you. So now what we can do, now we can go into shadows and we can hit glow. And now we can change the color back to white. And now we can change the size of this and really make this look a lot better. So we'll make the blur around like 7, change the intensity to 14. And now we can actually make this bigger and put it like right here. And then we can put some text off to the right. So you can see this actually looks quite a bit better. So that's where that magic grab tool comes in pretty handy. And now let's add some text over on the right. I like this font, Akira Expanded. There's tons of fonts in here. I recommend finding something that's pretty bold and easy to read, but also kind of fits your brand. So, you know, there's not like a perfect font by any means, but something that's definitely legible. Make sure it contrasts with the background. That's another one of those C's from before. And then the next thing to make sure of is that the font is plenty big. Because when you think of YouTube thumbnails, if someone's watching one of these videos on their phone, that YouTube thumbnail is going to show up so small on the person's phone. So you want to make sure that the text is really big, legible, and it's easy to read. That's going to ensure more people click on it. So let's just say this is, we'll just say grow on Instagram. And now obviously this needs to be changed a lot so that it can fit. Let's change this size to like 96 maybe. And now I want to align this all on the right side. And then I want to change the spacing because there's way too much spacing vertically between the text. So you can just go up here to this line, hit spacing, and change the line spacing and really shrink that down so it fits a lot better. Now, one more thing I like to do with text just to help separate it from the background is add a little shadow behind it. So if you select the text, go up to effects, then you can hit lift. It's actually lift, it's not shadow. Shadow just kind of creates like that drop shadow. And it's hard to really make that look good. I think lift looks a lot better. So I'll select lift. And the last thing that you can do to help kind of, make your face pop a little bit more on the image is you can go back to edit photo and you can scroll over through the effects and click on face retouch. That's just going to use AI to edit it. Sometimes it looks great, sometimes it doesn't look so great. It's just going to kind of smooth out your skin a little bit. So let's just put that to 25. Now I'm actually going to go in and edit these colors. So you can see the image is a little dark, doesn't really pop that much. So I'm just going to hit adjust. Now I'm going to turn up the brightness quite a bit. And you can see like that really helps me pop on the image, helps me stand out. So I'm going to take that to 60. Contrast, I'm not really going to do anything with that. Maybe 10. Highlights, not going to touch those. Shadows, not going to touch those either. And then the vibrance and saturation. So as you increase the vibrance, that's going to increase the intensity of all of the colors in the image and specifically like the more muted colors. And saturation just increases like the colors like in general. So I'm going to take the saturation to like 8 and I'm going to take the vibrance to 12. That brings it up a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. So that's pretty solid. Now, one thing we could add is we could add maybe like the Instagram logo up here just to, just to make sure people really know that we're talking about Instagram. It kind of pops a little bit. So we'll just type in Instagram logo. Inside of graphics here, it'll pop up. We'll have to find the right one. All right, so now let's hop over to my other thumbnail templates that I have been using consistently. Show you how I kind of make those, how I duplicate them, and then different things I could change if you wanted to update it. So you'll notice these two here were actually for the same video. Originally, this was my idea, and I just did not like how it came out. I thought it wasn't super clear, super crisp, and just didn't really give the look that I was going for. And then I actually got this idea from another video that I saw on YouTube. So a thing with YouTube thumbnails is search your video title and see what other thumbnails people are creating, or even just what other thumbnails are out there from videos that have performed well, and use that template or inspiration for your own thumbnails. This thumbnail is almost identical to one of the other ones that I saw about the similar topic that was performing well. I just kind of changed the font type. I tweaked these images just slightly, but it was a very similar format. And this video for me ended up getting, it's at over 100,000 views now. So that was amazing. And that just goes to show the power of selecting a good thumbnail. And then this one, my home office tour, you'll see that there's two different thumbnails here. So this top one was the original thumbnail video wasn't performing well, wasn't even at 1,000 views. Looked at it and I said, you know what? I think I need to change this to just one single image where people can really see what the office looks like, and then really make the text a lot bigger and make it pop. And this one simple change, this video is now doubled in views. It's at around 1,300 views just by simply changing the thumbnail. Now, one specific niche I work with a lot of are real estate agents, and I see a lot of real estate agents make the mistake of creating really busy thumbnails for their home tours or property tours. So let's go ahead and just create a super simple but effective property tour thumbnail for your videos if you're a real estate agent. So let's go ahead and use this photo. We'll expand it full screen. Now, something that can be super effective is simply just putting big text that's back here. So go ahead and add the price of the home. So let's say this is like 22,900. Now, obviously we want to change this to white because that black just doesn't really pop that well. So let's go ahead and change it to white. So up here, text color, change it to white. Obviously, it blends in really heavy with these clouds. So we want to fix that by going to effects and shadow, or you can hit lift. That helps it pop a little bit more. Let's try shadow and see if this will work. I like adding this blur because it's not as sharp of an edge on the background. Now there's a whole bunch of different fonts you can use. Like I said, I love this Kyra Expanded. This Archivo Black is pretty good. You could even do Canva Sans in a bold. You can do Montserrat Black, Black Italic. Anton is a great font as well. You can make this one really wide because it's a super tall font. So you could actually make this really wide. Then something cool you could do with this if you wanted is you could kind of tuck it behind the edge of the house a little bit. So what we'll do to accomplish this is we'll duplicate the image. So we'll click the image we're using, duplicate it, and then we're going to go up to edit photo and then hit background remover. So this should remove the sky. Perfect. Removed it from the background, and now you can see this text is behind the font a little bit. One other thing you could do with this text is you could make it a color like yellow tends to pop really well. So even just this standard yellow font inside of Canva can look really good. And then the last thing you might add is the location. So let's add another text box. Let's just say this is in Seattle, Washington. Now, I personally would probably put this text more towards the bottom, and I might make this text white just to give a little contrast. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow to this as well, just to make it stand out a bit. And there you go. The other thing you can do is you can zoom out to make this real small to see how it's going to stand out. But a thumbnail like this is going to perform really, really well because it shows the home, it says the price, and it says the location. So it kind of has all three things that someone needs to know about a home in Seattle, Washington, and it gives them a price point of what they're looking at. Now, one more thing you could actually do with this is you could take this photo that's on top and you could edit it, right? You could increase the brightness, you increase the saturation a bit, and just kind of make it pop. So let's increase the brightness just to about 40. We'll increase the contrast a little bit. Then we'll increase the saturation a hair. There, that looks pretty good. I hope this video taught you how to create better thumbnails for your YouTube videos inside of Canva. If you want more information about me or what I do, it is in the description below. If you want to see some more content from me, it's over here on the screen. Make sure to check it out. I have a lot of valuable content here on this YouTube channel. I'm just looking to help you create better content. So if you enjoyed this video, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe for future content, and we'll see you in the next one.